Hi guys, it's SugarPlumSimss here and welcome back to another speed build. Today we are doing a collab and I'm very excited because I'm doing it with 3 other amazing girls who are all incredible at building. And if you don't know their channels and their Twitters, because I haven't actually said who I'm doing the collab with, so then obviously you don't know who they are, but definitely go check them out. So I'm doing a collab with Chrissie and Simlicy and SammyxSimmer. And sorry if I'm slightly weird tonight because I am kind of tired, even though it's only 10 o'clock at night and my bedtime is basically 2 AM, so I'm not sure what I'm on about, but so basically this is a world outdoor mall and I'm very excited about this collab because it is compiled of 4 different sections and each section is sort of based off of a different culture or like country, and I did the Asian inspired section, so I did lots of like red lanterns and I went for more of like a modern style because I feel like that sort of speaks more about sort of the Japanese and Chinese culture. And then Chrissie did the Mexican section, and then Sammy did the Moroccan section, and Simlicy did the American section. So each section turned out really amazing, and if you haven't already, you should definitely check out their parts. We are all releasing at like the same time, so if you haven't already, you can go and check out their parts right after this, and I will have all of their channels and their videos, or in Chrissie's in Chrissie's cake, her Twitter, because she doesn't have a channel. And yeah, so I am very excited, and I was the first person to do my section, which, not gonna lie, I was very nervous about because I was basically sort of like setting the same sort of style for everyone else to follow, and you know, that was very nerve-wracking because, you know, I think I'm actually like the youngest. Actually, I don't know how old Chrissie is, but I feel like I'm one of the youngest builders, so not that that really says anything, but I just felt quite nervous doing this, and I like tried to do my very best at building what I assumed would be sort of like a more Asian style section, and I had a lot of fun with this. I tried different sort of techniques and I had to think quite hard about what I actually wanted to include because we said it was going to be more like a sort of, I think it was like clothing festival type thing where you can buy lots of clothes and stuff, but there isn't a huge amount of items that can really be sort of related to clothes in The Sims. So you have like the wall decorations, which are like the clothes on the hangers, and then you have dressing gowns and then shoes on like a shoe rack, and that is kind of it. So you had to kind of get a bit creative with this, which I did try to do, even though one thing that you will see in a little bit is that basically I had done this whole thing with some of the stools and I was really happy with it, and then I placed the lot back down without custom content so that I could upload it to the gallery, and yeah, it basically everything, all like the items and stuff I had lifted up were on the floor, which I didn't intend to happen, and to be honest, I was quite annoyed at, and I wish it didn't happen. I feel like it's a bit of a bug in The Sims. I don't know if it is like a bug per se, but you know, per se, am I like some posh person now? Sorry, I don't mean like offense to anyone who actually says per se, but I don't usually say that, so it's slightly weird for me. But you know, it was just a bit annoying, so I had to sort of change it up a bit, and I am very happy with how it turned out in the end, but I would have preferred it how I had done it to begin with. So yeah, it was just slightly annoying, but you know, what can you do? And I mean, it did turn out really nice, and I am very happy with how it turned out in the end, which I've literally said about 5 million times already. But I don't know how much I'm going to talk about the build because, you know, it's like, even though there is a bit, I don't know what I'm saying, even though there is a bit to talk about, you know, to begin with, I'm sort of just going through ideas, and not really many of these actually stick. I think I was just kind of trying to figure out how to sort of separate the stands a little bit and create little, what's it called, little roofs over the stands without actually using roofing, because I didn't realise this, but everyone else sort of used wall pieces on their sections, and for me, I didn't really use any wall pieces to make rooms. I sort of just used some of the walls to create little wall sections, which I think most people did, but I think Chrissie made like a little bathroom section on hers, and then Simlicy I think made like a little canopy type thing for an outdoor cinema, which was really cool. And then SammyxSimmer was basically, her like section was pretty much all sort of enclosed, but at the same time it was very open, and hers was really pretty and colourful. And yeah, they're all just really amazing, so definitely go check them out, and go like show their channel or their Twitter some love, and go and support them and everything, because yeah, they are really lovely people. And I've had a lot of fun with this collab. It's been in the works for quite a while now, and I think because Chrissie actually asked me to do this collab back in June. No, not June, it's already been June. I think like the 3rd of May I finished building, so she probably asked me quite a bit before then, and I didn't actually get around to building it after she asked me if I wanted to do it as a group collab. I didn't actually build it until I think like a week or so afterwards, and I think I was just having a bit of a builder's block. I think it was sort of around the time when my channel was a bit dead, you know, just not me uploading very often. But since then I've uploaded quite a bit, as you can probably tell. I'm probably all annoying you with my excessive uploads, but I promise you I will calm down a little bit now that I sort of finished with my upload streak, I guess. Well, I'm still going to upload as frequently as possible, but at the same time I want to spend a bit more time on my builds, and you know, it takes a long time to create the thumbnails. Literally sometimes I'll spend half an hour to an hour on each thumbnail just because I have so much fun with them and I want to experiment a bit, and then sometimes I just, you know, I want to spend more time on the builds, and it's quite hard to sort of like spend as little time as possible on the big builds if you want to get them out quickly. Like I think, what was it? I can't actually remember now, but I don't even know what I was going to say. Never mind about that. But I did post a poll on Twitter, I think, not yesterday, like this afternoon, asking people what they wanted to see more of on my channel, because recently I have noticed not much growth coming from my channel. And you know, like I've told myself not really to care about the subscriber count, because at the end of the day people will unsubscribe all the time, and you know, when you unsubscribe from someone, you don't really think about if they're going to be upset by you unsubscribing. Because I know I've unsubscribed from people in the past and I haven't really thought twice about it. And you know, that's probably the same with other people, but you know, sometimes it just feels like slightly disheartening when you find that your channel isn't growing as quickly as it used to. But at the same time, you know, I don't care too much about it, and I try not to, because I have fun with this channel, and even if I had, I don't know, like 20 subscribers, I'd still put the same amount of effort into my builds and everything. And yeah, you know, if I'm losing subscribers, I might slightly care, but at the same time, you know, I try not to. So yeah, I don't actually know where that conversation started from, but I don't know. And also, I don't know why I say conversation as if I'm having a talk with two people, because even though I technically kind of am, you're not responding, so yeah, that's slightly weird. And also, you'll see those mannequins, in the screenshots, they're actually naked, they don't have any clothes on, because apparently, I don't know when, but I think when Sammy, she did the last bit with the building, like she was the last person to build, and I think when she placed down the lot, they all, like the clothes on all the mannequins sort of disappeared, and I don't know what happened with that. I think it might have just been like a glitch or something. So you won't find any clothes on the mannequins unless you decide to sort of redo their clothes, I guess. But I did include like a little mini Kaz type thing within this build, just so that if you want to maybe place down the Kaz items again, if you use this lot, then you can do. I definitely will probably use this lot at some point. I don't know when, maybe in one of my Let's Plays if I start those up again, which I will, but I just don't know when yet. And yeah, sorry, my brain is slightly scattered today because I'm just kind of tired right now, and I am trying my hardest not to yawn right now, which is something that if you ever feel like yawning is quite hard to not do, so yeah, I'm struggling slightly with that. But Also, another thing, well, actually, I think I was going to talk about something, but then I don't think I ever actually got to the point of that conversation. But basically, I posted a poll on Twitter today. I think I was trying to talk about this, but I don't think I ever finished it. I think I went on to that talk about the subscribers stuff and everything. But I asked people on Twitter what they'd like to see more of on my channel. And that's mainly because I haven't had as many new subscribers, so I feel like maybe if I ask you guys what you'd like to see from my channel, then maybe that might help a little. So most of you seem to be wanting the more creative type builds, which is one of the options on the poll, and then some of you also wanted more large impressive builds, and then the other two options, which were Kaz and then generic house builds, didn't get as many votes, but they still got quite a few votes. And sorry that I just got slightly cut off because my sister came up the stairs. Even though my little sister told her to be quiet, I still had to kind of stop it. But anyway, I think I was talking about sort of like the votes and everything, but the last vote was a generic house, and I think I mentioned Kaz as well already. But I mean, generic houses are more like sort of smaller houses or family homes or something like that. So I mean, those are sort of slightly more boring, but at the same time, I'm sure some people wanted to see them. So, I mean, I'm already doing more generic houses, which is kind of why, even though I included it, I sort of included more different videos that I'm not actually doing at the moment. So, I'm probably going to do a more, what is it called, like a cliff house. So basically, I've started this notebook thing, which I should have probably started a while ago because it's basically for brainstorming new build ideas, and it's actually like my notebook is actually like an old diary type thing, which I never actually really used. It's like a Spanish one, so on the front it just says mi diario, which is my diary in Spanish, but yeah, I haven't used it, so I just thought I'd use it now. And I've just put like little build ideas in, and I've got 2 plus 1 that I need to actually figure out what I kind of want it to be. So one of them is like a lighthouse build, and I really want to do that at some point. I think I'll probably start on it soon. And then the other is sort of like a beach house on a cliff, which I also really want to do. So they're both kind of more sort of like builds I'll probably do in, what is it, the island of Windenburg, which I think will probably work out quite nicely. And I'm definitely looking forward to those ideas. Plus, I think they are going to be a bit more creative because I'm thinking on the like beach house on a cliff, I'm going to be doing sort of a infinity pool type thing, and then I'll do like a little waterfall type thing trickling down from that. So that's something I'm quite excited about because it's sort of more of an original idea, I feel like, and I think it's going to be a bit more creative, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. And then I also have like a castle build because I really want to do a castle build, but I have no idea sort of what I want to do with it and how I want to sort of approach the idea. I was kind of thinking maybe a refurbished type of castle type thing that's sort of been abandoned and then remodeled a little, but I don't know how I would do that. I feel like that might be slightly difficult to sort of make it look right, because I know that sometimes if you sort of make a traditional house modern on the interior, it can look slightly odd. So I don't know whether I might do that or if I'm just going to go completely sort of the traditional castle style, and then I might be able to use lots of the vampire items, because I still haven't done like a vampire house or like just a build that mainly focuses on the vampire pack, and I want to do one because I do quite like that style. I just haven't done much of it. And then the other two builds, like the lighthouse build, will probably be more contemporary, maybe slightly modern, or I might go for more traditional. And then the beach house will be modern, and I mean the beach house might be slightly suburban, I don't know. And then the castle, I have no idea yet, but those are sort of the ideas I have right now, and I've sort of sketched them out a little bit because, you know, I can kind of slightly work on my drawing skills, even though it really doesn't require much drawing skill. Literally, you know, you're just drawing a few straight lines and maybe a few sketches of trees or something where you want them to be. By the way, my trees are huge when I sketch them out. Literally, the trees that I sketched out are basically the same size as the house, which is kind of slightly unrealistic, but, you know, I will figure that out when I actually come to build them, and I will realise that my proportion skills are not great. But yeah, I am kind of tired, so excuse my sort of more quiet voice, I guess, although you might actually like that. I don't know how many people enjoy my little bubbly talk thing that I usually do when I record voiceovers, but this is my tired voice. This is the evening where I'm not really speaking, I'm basically just binge watching YouTube videos and everything. I was about to say speaking of and then like talk about something, but I honestly don't know what I was going to actually talk about because my brain's just not working right now. But I haven't watched, actually I have watched quite a lot of videos like speed builds recently, especially from by screen side. So basically I was watching, sorry, I had to quickly think about that because I couldn't remember who it was with, but I know it was with Simlicy, and she did a collab with By Screenside, and then I went onto By Screenside's channel, and her builds are incredible. Like, I really love her build style, and I basically, while I think I was either playing The Sims or Minecraft or something, but I was just watching build after build and just listening to it. I think I might have also been making a thumbnail at the same time, but I had a lot of, like, her builds are really good, but also her, like, voiceovers are really good as well. So it's quite nice to just have it on in the background and be able to listen to them. And then, actually, speaking of, like, making thumbnails and stuff, this thumbnail for this video took me so long to make because I had this idea for a sort of a thumbnail and it was slightly more, I guess, wonky or slightly more, actually I don't even know if that's the right word to use, but it's just not as sort of straight. No, that's still not the right words to use. I don't know what I'm saying basically, but I had kind of an idea in my head of how I wanted a thumbnail to be, and then I sort of tried to make it work, and then I basically came up with 4 different variations of this one type of thumbnail style, which I did really like, but then I just couldn't decide between the 4 thumbnail styles, even though they're all really similar. I think one of them had sort of the underline, which I think this thumbnail will probably have the underline on it, but I think 2 out of 4 of them had the underline, and then 2 of them didn't have the underline, and then one with the underline didn't have the collab part, and then without the underline they didn't have the collab part. It's just a bit jumbled, and I'm sure the average person wouldn't have really noticed much with it, but just with me, I'm quite indecisive, so, you know, the tiny details really do sort of make a difference to me. But yeah, also, this is like a mini CAD that I was talking about, basically just putting some clothes on the mannequins. I thought I'd include it because, I don't know, some people might like to see it, some people might just, you know, want to see the speed build, but I made it quite quick. I sped it up quite a lot. I think it was like 9 times the original speed, so it is very quick, and I promise it isn't that long, it's only like a couple minutes, but I think it is kind of nice to have like a mini Kaz sometimes. And that's another thing. I think eventually, well, not eventually, but I'm going to be probably creating some more sort of builds where I have sort of characters I've pre-made, so I can basically make some non-custom content families and then create a house for them. Well, sorry, I think I just burped then. You don't need to know that, but just letting you know that. And that was actually sort of an idea that Chrissie gave me, Chrissie York on Twitter, who's also in this collab if you didn't know, which you should know because I literally mentioned it at the beginning of this video. But yeah, she said that I could probably do like a thing where I make families that don't have custom content and then I create a house for them and sort of maybe do like a mini machinima or something, and I think that would be quite cool to do, and it would also give a bit more personality to my builds, and it would also actually make them easier to build with, because that's another thing I find often with builds is that when you have a character you're building for, it makes life so much easier, honestly. Oh yeah, and you probably did notice that like a minute ago that straight after the Kaz, I think, you would have seen everything on the floor and everything I lifted up, so basically I had to go ahead and change everything, so I used lots of the lanterns, and then I had to sort of change the design on the little display tables, but it did work out. It just took me a while to sort of figure out. And then I was going to mention something else, but I honestly can't remember. I don't know what I was going to talk about, never mind. Oh yeah, actually it was the kimonos. So, well, kimonos, I'm calling them kimonos, but actually they're dressing gowns. So, because my area is more of an Asian inspired section area, I don't know what I'm saying, but it is more Asian inspired, so I decided to try and sort of bring in a bit more of their culture. So I used these little dressing gowns and I put them on these little wool sections, and they are what I would like to call kimonos. So I mean, they don't really look like kimonos, but at the same time I think they could probably pass for them. And it's basically the little towels I put on the little, what are they called, market stalls. Those are sort of like the silk fabric that kimonos sort of go along with. Like, I know some kimonos have lots of silk, and some of them I think are like more simpler. I don't really know. I'm not Asian or of their descent, so I don't really know a huge amount about their culture, but I do know a little bit because I do watch a lot of anime, and I do also really like Korean dramas. Don't judge me, I like them, okay? Sorry, I'm tired. I've mentioned this far too many times, but I want to sort of make up an excuse for why I'm so weird tonight, but you're just going to have to live with that, or you could just click off this video. And I noticed that I think it was Simproved on Twitter. She mentioned sort of about how she didn't know whether to ask for, like, at the end of her builds, if she should like remind people to give the video a like and subscribe and everything. And it kind of like, I wasn't so sure about it, like my outro, after sort of reading through everyone's replies to that tweet, because for me personally, I say in my outro, I think I say like, if you enjoy, give us a like, and then subscribe if you're new, etc. But I don't actually know if I should be telling people to subscribe, because it seemed like a lot of people on the Twitter that sort of like, it kind of was a bit like a forum because lots of people were giving their ideas about it, but it seemed like lots of people didn't really like it when people asked for subscribers, and I only ever really started saying it because I know a lot of YouTubers say it, and I kind of learned from them, I guess. So in my outro I decided to include it, and it felt kind of natural, I guess, and it wasn't that hard to say. So yeah, I don't know whether I should say it. If you guys find it a bit annoying, then I won't, and I can just change it to just like, if you enjoy, give us a like, because I don't think there's a problem with saying that. But if you have any other different ideas about it, then do let me know. And if you think I should just say, if you enjoy, then give us a like, and then comment down below any suggestions or something. Basically, if you want me to change my outro, you know, if you find it a bit annoying, then, you know, I would happily do that, really, because it's honestly not that hard. It might take a few minutes, well, not a few minutes, but a couple videos to get used to, but after that it should be quite good, so just let me know. And I think that's pretty much the build, actually. There's a lot of screenshots, and then I included 2 screenshots of each and everyone's sections, so you can check them out, and also all their links will be down below, so definitely go check them out. Anyway, if you enjoyed, give us a big thumbs up, and also subscribe if you're new. Again, I don't know if I'll keep that outro, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!